Welcome back. We hope you've had a refreshing break. You are with us at our second session for today and the final and sixth session of the Arts Festival, Children in Lockdown. Now, may I remind you, if you've missed any of our previous sessions, please don't hesitate to log on to our YouTube channel and Facebook page to view the artworks at your leisure. Our theme for now is digital well-being in the pandemic. Now, there are a lot of good things about technology and a digital space that accommodates so much that you can do in such less time. But there is always the other side of the coin, where there are things like Zoom fatigue, and the feeling of being trapped, the feeling of having to sit down in front of a screen for endless hours. This next piece is an art installation by Encelletta Solomon that talks about this feeling of being trapped in a digital space, in addition to being trapped in a lockdown. Now, Encelletta Solomon is also a part of the mentorship program that was another feature of our 6-month program in the lineup to the festival, where a mentor was assigned to Encelletta to drive her through the process of creation of her piece. So, here's Trapped.
When what we took for granted became a privilege, and when what we knew to be normal became a luxury, how were we to go on as if everything was okay? Armed with face masks for shields and hand sanitizers for swords, refusing handshakes was our battle plan, but our battlefields were empty. The classrooms filled to the brim with the absence of chatter, the silence amplified by the battles that were being fought elsewhere. As days blurred into weeks and weeks into months, as them became us and us became me. Staring at a dream I once lived vividly and vicariously, through screens that seemed to sap out the color that remained. This was when I knew what it meant to be trapped.
Hi, I'm Encelletta Solomon and I am 20 years old, and it has been a great experience working with my mentor Shani Aki. So I just wanted to put out what I felt while I was experiencing lockdown. And during that time, I was about to face my A-level examination, and to my surprise, everyone thought we were a lucky batch, that we were very fortunate to get our exams postponed. And at first, even I thought I had a lot of time to revise and go through my notes, but little did I know that everything was about to turn upside down. And the worst part is that this wasn't a choice. We were all forced into it, like we were forced to stay within our boxes, we were forced to communicate within our boxes. So because of that, we lacked a lot of motivation, and generally speaking, a lot of middle class parents were having a hard time adapting to the situation, and some parents were not getting paid. So times were really tough, especially when you have a public examination coming up, and there wasn't much we could do as a child. It's like we were all forced into it. And if I had to think of a feeling, or if I had to think of one word that will explain my experience in lockdown, it would be trapped. Simply trapped. So I didn't like how school, meeting up with friends and talking to your loved ones, playing and having fun were all confined to small boxes. And these small boxes were your laptops, your phones, and all sorts of digital media. And we had very little to do at that time, and time was passing really slowly, and this resulted in a lack of motivation. So children of my age were stressed, depressed, very lonely, and it's like they didn't have anyone to talk to, and especially they didn't have that physical touch or that physical vibe to share their problems with.
I was very excited when I was told that I would be assigned a mentor, and I wanted others to experience what I was experiencing during lockdown, and Shania Aki really made it happen. So these are some of her works, and the first time I saw them, I was both amazed and grateful at the same time. She assisted me in areas other than my artwork, and most notably in determining that architecture was a really good career option for me. And she has definitely had a positive impact on my future, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity. So we began with art journaling, and I usually think of a lot of things on a daily basis, and it's just there in my head and it vanishes the next day. So art journaling helped me keeping track of my thought process, and I definitely saw it developing and becoming more and more complex over time. And this is surely one of the most important factors that would benefit me as an artist. So Shaniaki helped me think about the concept more deeply, and she asked questions like, what are you trying to say, what is your goal, and why are you using this particular material, and what does it represent. So she facilitated my thought process throughout, which helped me come up with my own solutions. So at first we planned to create an e-waste sculpture, but then we quickly realized that there was a more practical and elegant solution. So this is the final result. If you notice, all of these hands are different from each other, symbolizing us Sri Lankans and children in lockdown. I want people to understand how everyone, especially children, are stuck or constrained in what they can do. Students face the following issues as a result of online school: a lack of productivity, inability to concentrate on lessons taught through a screen, lack of emotional satisfaction, stress from repeating the same daily routine, and an overall mental health damage as a result of loneliness, boredom, and hearing devastating news about COVID. This is represented by the handmade chains, which evoke a sense of imprisonment. This piece also highlights the positive aspects of lockdown, such as how it allowed people to help one another. It gave us a sense of togetherness and connection, as if we were all going through the same agony regardless of ethnicity or religion. The use of crimson strings show us a vulnerability in our defense against COVID, as evidenced by multiple mortality cases, a slump in the economy, changes in students' and working adults' lifestyles, and challenges faced by frontline employees. In Hinduism, crimson strings represent trust, protection, and connection. However, as noticed in the Kabbalah, the mystical form of Judaism, it can be considered as staying away from misfortune. In any case, it leads us back to the point of wearing a mask. Overall, I had a great time and learned a lot more than just how to build an installation artwork. I loved the journey, and I hope my story helped people understand my personal experience during lockdown.
What you just saw was, apart from the installation itself, Encelletta's creative journey towards creating this installation piece. Now, this was originally meant to be an exhibit in a physical space, but unfortunately, in true lockdown style, we had it for you today as a visual representation. A festival of this nature doesn't come to fruition without a dedicated and generous team. So may I remember with gratitude Kindernothilfe, our main partner, and our festival partners, the German Embassy, Goethe Institute Colombo, where we are broadcasting from, the Sunetra Bandaranayake Trust, Leeth, the Lionel Wendt, Music Matters, Oneness Center, Yuma Foundation, News First, and all our well-wishers and patrons. Next up, we have a very interesting performance, a one-man show by Leeth Sinhage, where Leeth takes on the roles of so many teenagers to bring you QuaranTEEN.
a very fucking vague question. That's a loaded question. That's like so vague. What do you mean?
I mean, like, overall, so like, overall, do you like the lockdown or do you not like it? Overall.
Do you mean when we started or like 2 years in? What are we comparing it to, bro?
I think when growth rates come in.
I think there's positives and negatives.
I mean, it's like two sides of coin. I mean,
Mixed feelings.
it depends. Lockdown has done a lot of things like pros and cons.
Don't you have any better questions? Seriously? You're getting paid to do this?
I actually really like it.
So, this is how it's gonna work. Welcome to my creative space, the mind of an artist, which is me, the artist. This guy here, he'll get there within the space of the lockdown, which for your convenience will be within the space of this show. So Leeth, despite his overwhelming underachievements, managed to do one thing right. He decided to turn his lockdown into a research project, which would lead to... Wait for it. A one-man show! Woo! 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 But there's still some time for that. We need to be patient with the boy. I'm sorry, come again?
I actually really like it. You grow into your room, you know? You're just, you kind of integrate
with
the walls. Literally, that's, oh my god, I can't think of a better way of describing that because that's actually what happened in the first day. And it's a very, like you feel claustrophobic, but after that,
you just have this, like, you have this epiphany and you're like, wait, this is actually great. Like, you don't have to be anything. Like, you can be the worst version of yourself and, like, the walls don't give a shit, you know? So it's like, you can do the weirdest shit in your room and, like, nobody knows, you know? So it's so great. Like, you don't have to socialize, you don't have to talk to people, you don't have to express an opinion and then have somebody just be like, I kind of agree with that, but... You know, and then you're like, oh my god, that's so bad, I have no idea why I just said that. You don't have any of that. You can, like, talk to the walls. I'm just kidding, I need to talk to the walls. I'm not that bad. But, I mean, they are great listeners, you know. But I'm being honest. I'm being really honest. I had to sit with myself for, like, 8 months so you can count at the fact that I'm not filtering myself anymore. This is completely unfiltered. This is really honest stuff. This stuff only the walls here. I feel like I'm talking a bit too much now. Am I talking too much? I'm not going to say anything back, please. Please? Well, this is not awkward, it just might be a little bit creepy. Are you not gonna talk? I know. What do you do with him, huh? Remember this? What do you do with that? Did anyone pay any attention to it? Poor boy Leeth here spent hours trying to find one official Sri Lankan news report on the first outbreak of coronavirus in China. Who would have thought that 2 years later, this would be the only thing anyone ever talked about? Remember the world before COVID. Those really were the good old days, weren't they, Grandpa? Yes! So seriously, isn't it funny how both kids and adults could agree on what the good old days are? Hey, Grandpa, remember not being afraid to sneeze in public? Yes! Oh, remember when people actually pushed each other when standing in line at counters and stuff? Yes! Oh, remember when you met someone and you actually hugged them? When people held hands on the roads, guys and girls, girls and girls, guys and... guys... Yes! Whoa! Wait. Shh. Remember not being afraid to make out with people you just met. Ah, yes! Okay, we're stopping there. Are you put up? Anyways, those really were the good old days, weren't they? When COVID was around, but you weren't yet sure if it was real or just a myth. You know, when you thought COVID only affected Chinese people who eat bats and dogs, that it couldn't affect the rest of us who just eat cows, pigs, chickens, fish, sheep, goats. You racist bastards. But seriously, does anyone remember what they were doing when Wuhan happened? Oh, I do. Thanks for asking. I was breaking up with my girlfriend because no matter how many fish in the sea, it'll be so empty without me now. Okay. That's because I had just finished my A-levels. I was just about to go off to uni, you know? My world was about to open up. Plus, I had been hitched for like 3 months. So I just want to play around, hook up. Hello, university! Woo! Was I paying any attention to COVID? Of course not. I was 17. Okay, darling. I think we should take a break. Just break up, you know. It's just me. A-levels are just around the corner. Plus, we've been dating for like 3 months. Any longer and people will think we're married or something. Ew, gross, haha. Let's just stop. Babe, it's over. Now focus on the show.
What the fuck, Leeth? Stop trying to be badass for this film. You know how the breakup went. I remember groveling.
Hey, calm down now. Who let the little lady in? This is a one-man show.
Why are you talking funny, Leeth?
Funny.
No. Really? Okay, weirdo, whatever, bye.
It sure is quiet, isn't it? Which is perfect. It's just what I need. Gosh, it really is very, very quiet.
Leeth, come play football.
Can't.
Leo, will you?
I don't want to.
Don't care if you don't want to. Come, will you? Come play.
How do you say I'm studying?
No, you're not.
I have A-levels.
For so long.
Go read a book or something. Go. Sure. Get out. Go. Who didn't get the memo? For the last bloody time, this is supposed to be a one-man show. Leeth. Hey dude, what's up? මේ කෝල් තරගාන්ස කරන්න නෑ බං කාගේවත්. Oh, tomorrow. මගේ අම්මා එන්න දෙන්නේ බං, you know my mother doesn't let me. Plus like A-levels are just around the corner, so... Oh, joke, so it's A-levels, dude. Once I leave this country and get into uni... Oh, you bugger, I promise. So I'll start all the clubs, do theatre, do tennis, party every Friday night and hook up with anything that walks, university. Patience, you bugger. A-level kale nemei bang, Arthur, university kale. Patience, man. No, I think you should just do what I'm doing, And that, my friends, is about when the lockdown happened. Looking forward to joining this obscenely expensive university. Looking forward to joining this prestigious university. I am keen. Even during the lockdown, I've kept myself busy, kept myself engaged with girls. Life and issues. Hi, Kevin. The reason I'm conducting this interview is because I've been commissioned to do this creative project for this program called Children in Lockdown, which is carried out by this NGO called Kindernoffe. It's this German NGO. And it's curated by Stages Theatre Group in Sri Lanka. They're pretty cool. So my project is titled Locked Down. And it's to basically explore the lockdown experience through the eyes of Sri Lankan children, other than me, and to finally make a live stage performance out of it. So the point of this is to basically hear your story, your personal lockdown experience, and hopefully it'll give me some sort of inspiration, or hopefully it'll give me some sort of insight or something novel to integrate into my show. So, do you want to wait? Who the hell would want to see that 2 years of lockdown trauma condensed into a show? First, your creative title for this lockdown project is titled Lockdown Trash. Second, you know the first thing that popped into my head when you told me about this children lockdown project was, wow, they just keep beating this dead horse. Every academic essay since every job and university application and interview, every television and radio commercial, every food product, every billboard, every company, every newspaper, every company, everything since the start of the lockdown has been about the lockdown, COVID-19 lockdown. And God damn it, the lockdown is not even over yet. As far as anyone knows, this could just be the beginning of the end of the human race, and all everyone cares about is to make a goddamn living off of it. You know, even these universities I'm applying to are like, oh, so tell us, how has the lockdown experience helped you grow as a person? What? Grow? If scrolling through Instagram and TikTok for days on end counts as growth, I still wouldn't have grown in comparison to anyone else because that's something everybody did. And now, your Kinder Flux NGO is like children in lockdown. Wow! How novel, Leeth! Number one, who cares about children? Number two, everybody's been through the lockdown. What am I, a child, supposed to say about the lockdown that nobody here already knows? Finally, you don't make an entertainment item off of an ongoing crisis, you psycho! How screwed up is that? It's like a movie about the Holocaust was made during the Holocaust and shown to the Jews in the concentration camps. So again, what am I doing here and why? Greetings, madam. I've been keeping myself busy while waiting for university applications. I've been researching for a one-man show called Locked Down. Been researching for a one-man show called Social Distancing. A one-man show called Curfew. One-man show called QuaranTEEN. It's based on lockdown interviews with teenagers. So as you know, I'm a keen observer of life and society. is something wrong with my phone.
Dear Leeth, we are happy that you are working on your short story, QuaranTEEN. Unfortunately, we will not be opening universities anytime soon. However, our online classes are...
Hey, what's up, dude? Hi, I'm at a party right now. Yeah, it's fun. It's like freezing over here. It's like so cold. I'm like wearing so many layers of clothing, you know. So, oh no, they don't care about COVID. It's like I'm tennis with yeah. Hey, give my phone back. Hey, give my phone. Oh, hey, play the music. Hey, why do you call the music? Hey, play the music. Hey, hi, dude. Yeah, I'll call you back later, okay? It's not nice, so I just like socialize and stuff. Okay, okay, bye. I can't really hear you. Bye.
Green lights can tell me when to go, but when do you think I'll ever know the destination? Streetwise, with not a single place to go. What defecation. I need to be all that I can be. So tell me, do I concede or do I believe? I'll be me. I'll be me. I'll be me. These nights making me moody, I'm just feeling like revolting, remaking life, shaking, breaking. Then we go ahead, Now do we break ourselves seeing hell in this cell? Now do we break ourselves? Somebody see this clown. I need to know what's here for me at the end of the ride. I need to be all that I can be. So tell me, do I concede or do I believe? I need to be all that I can be. So tell me, do I concede or do I believe? I'ma be me. 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 So, Instagram became a bit of a public toilet during the lockdowns. So many people shut up in their little cubicles singing loud enough for everyone to hear. Everybody's gone woke. And whether that's a good thing or bad is not my concern, nor is it the point of this show. However, I do believe our boy Leeth here would probably have turned out to be one of those insufferable Instagram singer people things, you know? If not for being so busy making this show. Hi guys, welcome to my live. Today I'll be singing an original composition. Both the lyrics and the melody are mine. But don't judge. I only know 4 chords. But 4 chords are all the chords I need to know to play all the songs in the world. It's kind of like that Tibetan Buddhist idea that everything is a reflection of everything. You know, like the galaxy exists here. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Anyways, this song is not about me, guys. This song is about you. It's for you, for each and every one of you, my fellow lockdown buddies, who may be having a hard time during this lockdown. Yes, Queen, you too. I hope this song gives you the courage and the determination and the willpower and the courage to persevere through the lockdown. Just keep moving forward, guys. Knock, knock, and the door shall be opened. Knock, knock, and the door shall fall. A bit of hard work and determination. You can be the victor of the whole wide world. Knock, knock, and the door shall be opened. Knock, knock, and the door shall fall. Until you win, it's not over. Don't lose hope on me, soldier. There is always hope for humans at the end of it all. Knock, knock, and the door shall be open. Knock, knock, and the door shall fall. But if you are a chicken, cow, or soon to be bacon, you were born to suffer, it's your neck that'll fall. Knock, knock, and the door shall be open. Knock, knock, and the door shall fall. COVID's temporary, unlike a slaughterhouse baby, where you are bred to suffer to go inside somebody else's throat. Do
So, it's been a pretty shitty and lonely time, right? I mean, for all of us. I don't remember the last time I met you. So I just want to know, have you kept in touch with your friends over the lockdown?
Oh my God, that's like the worst question you could have asked me. That's like, oh my God, so I have this really bad habit where I just never reply to my friends' messages. Okay, so recently, one of my friends texted me this like orgy from like bishops, you know? So I was like lost in my head and the memories, and I was like, I should respond properly. So I was like, I'll respond later, you know? And then later I'm like eating, and then I'm like, oh shit, I should respond to that girl. And then I like take my phone, I'm like, ooh, Instagram, scroll, click, ew. You know, and then later I'm like brushing my teeth and I'm like, ooh. Then take my phone, I'm like, what do I look like brushing my teeth? Selfie, you know, it's awful, man. It's like so bad. I mean, I still like them, but I don't know if they like me, you know, because I haven't responded to them in like 3 months. So I just don't know how to rectify it, so I just let it be. I just let it be.
Among us, there are those who like us, there are those who don't. Among us, there are few who hate us, there are more who don't know you exist. Among us, there are those who know us, but pretend they don't. Among us are those who still haven't played Among Us.
Okay, Leeth, you have to focus, man. We're working towards a live show. A one-man show, man. A one-man show. You feel that? You see the crowds, the people, the energy. You feel that? Good. Now get back to work. You covered experience of lockdown, friends, now it's depression. Yes, quick, get that over with. Did they go through any phases during the lockdown? You know, were they depressed at any point?
I don't know. I used to be very in touch with my emotions, but shit happens.
Oh, that must have been hard for you.
Yes, especially when like the shit is real shit, you know. But sometimes I only know that something's up because I suddenly feel all of it, like all at once. I feel it all of it.
There's somebody at the door.
I know.
Are you not going to answer it? I know who it is. Well, who is it? It's my dinner.
Baby, lock the door and turn the lights down low. Put some music on that's soft and slow. Baby, you ain't got no place to go. I'll be your Uber man. I've been thinking about this all day long. Never felt a feeling quite this strong. I can't believe how much it turns me on to see my Uber man. Baby, grab your phone and click on Food to Go. Send me places where you'd like to go. Pick up your food and bring it to your door. Yeah, I'm your Uber man.
I told you, I started working out during COVID. Was it before the second lockdown? I don't know. Anyway, so I don't know if you can see I made this bench press tadua in my room. So yeah, it was during COVID, and I don't know, it was a bit pre-COVID, I think. After AS and I don't know, COVID tamai. So yeah, so basically December and after the second lockdown and before the when was the third? Anyways, so yeah, so I remember that. So it was like in between waves, and no. I remember now. It was gym was last year, and then I properly started gym after AS, and then went for like 3 months. So for like 3 months basically, and after and that's when I made the bench press at home, and then the lockdown ended in was it Jan this year or December last year? So, second lockdown. I'm sorry, man. What was the question? Can you repeat it? No, I got it. It's all right. I'm gonna use this. Hi, I'm busy. Yes, for the show. Yeah, it's coming together really well. It's actually like the only thing that's going well for me at the moment. Yeah? Yes. Okay. Oh, okay. Yes, I understand, yeah. I'm fine. Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, bye. The bastards! What do they mean? No live show? Who is this Stages Theatre Group anyways? We agreed to a live show. All this work this poor mug has been doing over all these months, all the interviews, all the endless transcribing, all of it, all the research, all of it was only worth it for a live show. And now they call me up and they're like, Leeth, are you busy? Can we tell you something? We're sorry for the inconvenience, but given the current COVID situation, we won't be able to have a live show. Is that okay? What? So now I'm supposed to turn this into some sort of short film that they're going to post online? Even though everybody knows that nobody gives a flying crap about online events. What the hell, man? You know what, Leeth? You could have pushed back. You could have, for once, stood up and said something instead of, okay, sure, I understand, I'm fine, okay. Honestly, man, is that all you've got? You know what? I'm done. I'm leaving you. See? I'm gone. Going once, going twice, gone then. You'll never be an artist without me. Is that what you want? To see me go? Disappear down the lockdown drain like all your other dreams? Say goodbye to an extraordinary life. You sure? Because now is your chance to stop me. Okay, I'm going. Really, I'm going. Okay then.
Waking up, looking down, there's nothing up, helping now, breaking up, calming down, sighing soft, crying loud, tired of doing nothing. Who knew boredom's exhausting? Do you feel so special now, humans? Vanity is clearer now. In the lockdown, this is the lockdown. We're in the lockdown. Locked down, lockdown. This is the lockdown. We're in the lockdown. Locked down. The only certainty is uncertainty. So darling, please do be freaking out with me. Darling, I'm so low. Would you know why I go break down this floor? Procrastination, no destination, not in this nation. Don't blame the nation, COVID's damnation to all the nations. Alienation, abomination, give a donation. No situation, this is elation. Master plan and world domination. Cause we're in a lockdown. This is the lockdown. We're in a lockdown. Locked down. Locked down. Locked down. This is the lockdown. We're in a lockdown. We're in a locked down. Jiggity jiggity bomb. Hey yo people! Oh, if you hear me say yeah! Yeah! Woo! 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 You have no idea how much I've missed this. This energy. This energy. Green lights can tell me when to go, but when do you think I'll ever know the destination? Streetwise, with not a single place to go. Whoa, whoa, what defecation. Honey, need to be all that I can be. So tell me, do I concede or do I believe? I'ma be me. I'ma be me. I'ma be me. I'ma be me. These nights making me moody, making me moody. I'm just feeling like revolting, remaking life, shaking, breaking. Then we go ahead. Now do we break ourselves, seeing hell in this cell? Now do we break ourselves? Somebody see this clown. I need to know what's here for me at the end of the ride. I need to be all that I can be.
So that was QuaranTEEN, and you can tell by that name that a teenager came up with that title. And in fact, Leeth did come up with that on his own, and he's very proud about it and won't stop going on about it. Leeth is a very versatile performer, songwriter, singer, actor who came up with this piece in the midst of applying to universities and also experiencing his friends and teenagers around him going through these trapped spaces, even digitally, where you can't really do teenage stuff anymore or in the same way. So one of the things that really stood out to me was the fact that ironically, Leeth wanted this performance to be a live show, but unfortunately, because of the restrictions and the lockdown, he had to adapt this show for an online festival. So that's one of the challenges that teenagers do have to face during this time of adapting, readapting, readjusting to so many changes, constant lockdowns, opening again, even in schools. So you don't have consistency, you don't have continuity. So these are all issues that come up in the topic of digital well-being in the pandemic. And with that, we come to another artist talk by Maleen Jayasuriya, who is a part of a group of artists that came together to form the Digital Wellbeing Initiative that actually came together in the run-up to the festival to combat issues faced by children in digital spaces, especially during the lockdown. Now, children are known to spend too much time with devices. With so much time spent with devices come a whole array of other issues like cyberbullying, addiction, misinformation, and invasion of privacy. These are the issues that Maleen will talk about. And you will also see public service announcement videos that came together from workshops done with kids. Here's an artist talk by Maleen Jayasuriya.
Hi, my name is Maleen Jayasuriya, and today I'll be talking to you about digital well-being and our relationship with technology through your screens at a completely virtual arts festival. Clearly, this pandemic has really pushed a lot of us, especially kids, to go completely digital. But if you think about it, this trend has kind of been a long time coming. These new technologies are developing at such breakneck speeds that it's really left the usual regulatory self-checking mechanisms of our society, like our policymakers, our education systems, even our family units, trailing behind in dealing with some of the problems that these technologies have on us, especially on the younger generation. Society just can't seem to keep up. I mean, I don't think I'm that old, but even I can't completely wrap my head around things like TikTok. So a couple of friends and I, who I can best describe as a set of concerned citizens, formed what we call the Digital Wellbeing Initiative. Now, our team consists of Nishan Kasim, a digital marketing professional, Sanjit Dias, an attorney at law, Pumi Vijayasundara, she's a theatre artist, Krisit Xavier, a medical doctor, and myself. I am a roboticist and currently an academic at the Faculty of Engineering, University of Peradeniya. So together with this ragtag group of friends, we initiated our first project, Reconnect Us, for the Children in Lockdown Arts Festival. So what I'll be doing in the course of this talk is to firstly tell you a little bit about Reconnect Us, then talk to you about the 4 issues that we decided to tackle in this project, namely addiction, privacy, cyberbullying, and misinformation. And then I'll wrap this talk up with a discussion about the creative process behind our project, and then also tell you a little bit about where we hope to take the Digital Wellbeing Initiative in the future. So what is Reconnect Us? Now, the idea behind Reconnect Us was to get kids to create a series of public service announcement videos to talk about the issues around technology and well-being. So like instead of adults lecturing kids on, the dangers of the internet, or how, back in the good old days, they used to talk to people face to face or send them a telegram, we wanted the kids themselves to, create a honest dialogue with their own generation about these issues. So we put out an open call for young artists between the ages of 13 and 19 to share their thoughts about these digital well-being issues as well as some of their work. Because what we were really looking for were all types of artists. We were looking for directors, writers, performers, video editors, singers, you name it. And what we ended up with was 50 applications that we then had to very painfully whittle down to about 20 because of practical reasons. And I can tell you in all honesty, having worked with these kids, they're some of the sweetest, most insightful, talented, hardworking kids you could ever meet. Which is why we dumped a whole ton of work on them, which they admit was a lot of fun, or so they say. But we got these kids to, develop the scripts, perform, produce these 4 PSA videos on the topics that I mentioned before: addiction, privacy, cyberbullying, and misinformation. Now, our role as the facilitators was to mainly arm these kids with the knowledge, the vocabulary, the history of these issues so that they could go forth and create the 4 PSA videos for us. And we did this through a series of webinars where we brought together the unique insights and backgrounds of our team members and ended up talking about issues ranging from, how these algorithms in these social media companies work, to how addiction affects your brain, to the legal frameworks around the more serious issues or the lack thereof of those legal frameworks. Our roles also extended to aspects of production, where we try to help these kids through having workshops on writing, performing, lighting, and cinematography, but more about the creative process a little bit later. So now that I've hopefully told you a little bit about who we are and what our project entails, let's talk about the 4 issues at the center of our project. So first up is addiction. Now, this is without a doubt an issue that we are all struggling with. I mean, most of you right now are probably on your phones while listening to this talk, checking your email, or have a bunch of tabs open with silly dog meme videos. I don't know, it's probably what I'm doing right now in this exact moment. These talks are pre-recorded. But seriously though, in the last 10 years, society has lost any moment of silence, boredom, or stillness. And I don't think that's a good thing, especially on the younger generation. Talking to these kids about addiction was really fascinating because we very quickly learned how almost all of their parents scold them a lot about the time that they spend on their devices, but don't really offer them anything beyond that. And it's important that we try and get the kids themselves to realize what a big problem there is. And what's fascinating is most of these kids do feel like something is off, which is why it's important that we tell them that this is not their fault. that these apps have been purpose-built and engineered by these multi-billion-dollar tech companies using sophisticated technology to manipulate our primitive human psychology for basically profit. Now, Chris, with his medical background, explained how, just like hardcore drugs, some of the features in these apps are meant to hijack our dopamine systems in our brains, which are responsible for feelings of motivation and reward. We talked to the kids about how these social media companies are in this constant battle and competition over the very limited and precious resource that is your attention. Because the more time we spend on these apps, the more data they can collect, the more ads they can show us, the more money they can make, which is essentially their business model, right? We are not their customers, which is why these apps are seemingly free. Our data and our attention is the actual product that's been sold to their actual customers, which are advertising firms. So we talked to the kids about all of this, which is referred to as the attention economy. And like we guessed, the kids were smart enough to understand how and why these companies steal our attention. And we didn't stop there. We gave the kids practical steps to deal with their addiction, like tracking their screen time using blocking apps. And the last few months actually felt like this ad hoc Onlineaholics Anonymous support group where we were all helping each other out with our own addictions. On a weekly basis, the kids would try to compete to see who would have the least amount of screen time, and we would jump in too. And having that group support made all the difference. And as cheesy as it sounds, I think this entire process helped all of us realize that it's only together that we can reclaim our attention, our focus, our moments of stillness before life just, passes us by. Tangled up in addiction and data collection is our second issue, online privacy. Part of moving into this rapidly digitalizing world are the threats that we have to face in terms of cybersecurity. Things like ransomware, online fraud, which have dramatically risen in the last year or so. But it's not just these evil people on the internet that we have to worry about. It's also ourselves and each other. It's really important that we all, especially kids, understand that the internet does not guarantee the right to be forgotten. That, once you post that silly picture of you doing something extremely stupid with your friends online, it's pretty much going to live there permanently, just like your shame. The alarming thing we learned from this was how much these kids disregard their own personal as well as each other's privacy. We've all heard stories about how teens have even committed suicide when private pictures of theirs were leaked online. And it was really funny when one of the kids, who was 13, mind you, told us how they spend a lot of time on Omegle, which is essentially a platform where you are exposed to complete strangers every few minutes. During the workshops, Nishan laid out practical steps on how to protect your personal information, like having stronger passwords, changing your privacy settings, being cognizant about what you share online. And these kind of basic skill sets, as well as just a general awareness of the importance of privacy and respecting each other's privacy, are all important attitudes, essential attitudes that we need to cultivate in the next generation as they move into this rapidly digitizing world. The next issue we talked about was cyberbullying, and the anonymity and the lack of usual social cues on the internet allows for very unusually cruel and subtle forms of bullying to take place online. It was really confronting for the kids when Pumi asked them, whether they had been bullies online, knowingly or unknowingly. And it was interesting because most of them admitted that they had not only been victims of it, but also perpetrators of online bullying. And I like to think that's not because we selected a bunch of bullies, but it's because this is a very common experience across their generation. In fact, these are some of the sweetest kids, but that lack of social cues and direct feedback very easily can take you down a very slippery and dark slope before you even know it. So we all sat down and talked about how we could be a bit more thoughtful to pause and reassess before we send that message or make that post. And we talked to the kids also about the importance of building up their own personal resilience and strength and self-esteem in the face of being bullied, and how it's still okay to ask for help or feel vulnerable in cases like that. And we also shared with them the type of legal action that they could take or the services they could contact, especially in very serious cases of harassment or mistreatment, the kind we've been seeing on the news lately, which is quite awful. This issue has caused and continues to cause so much hurt and suffering and intense isolation and self-esteem issues, especially among the younger generation, because unlike regular bullying, it can follow you to the safest spaces in your life. So it was really inspiring to see the kids tackle this issue with so much honesty, bravery, and grace. The final issue we tackled was misinformation. For the longest time, society has maintained gatekeepers of information like journalists, academics, scientists, that sweet old librarian at your local public library who's probably unemployed now. And these gatekeepers, they help filter out misinformation. And although not always perfectly, they had aspirational standards of integrity. But now people have direct and unprecedented levels of access to information, right? With smartphones getting cheaper, even someone in the middle of nowhere has the entire world at their fingertips, which is amazing. But at the same time, we need to then transfer the kind of skill sets that these traditional gatekeepers of information have, like basic journalistic skills and research skills, to that same populace, right? And make no mistake, these fundamental information literacy skills are teachable, and we need to start educating our society on how to vet, sift through, and filter out information. I mean, it was really funny when we were talking to the kids and realized what a universal experience it was to have that one uncle or aunt, or sometimes even parent, who sends you those crazy WhatsApp forwards about miracle cures for COVID, or you know, those forwards with like crazy conspiracy theories about vaccines. We also made sure to talk to the kids about the dangerous new technologies on the horizon, like deepfakes, where you can essentially create a video of a person saying and doing something that they never did using the power of AI. Now, imagine all this crazy technology on top of the caliber of politicians that we have, who are always ready to exploit the ignorance of society. And we are, you know, really marching towards a future that is really, really scary. So Sanjit specifically talked to the kids about the challenges around passing laws against misinformation, because it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Governments could easily use these laws to suppress, the opposition or cut down any form of dissent. And we've seen this happen in countries like India and China. So the real solution for this problem is that we all collectively realize that anyone could put any garbage on the internet, and we should always check our sources, do our research before we share or repost something, right? And it's also important that our education systems start teaching basic and fundamental information literacy skills to our next generation so that we can inoculate them against the spread of misinformation. All right, so now that I've spoken to you about the 4 heavy issues that we dumped on these kids, let's talk a little bit about the Reconnect Us project and the creative process behind it, the challenges we faced, and the things we learned along the way. We wanted to bring all these discussions that we had with the kids, you know, their experiences, their thoughts, the things we learned from them, the things they learned from us, and we wanted to capture all of it in our 4 PSA videos. And this is where Pumi's background in writing and theater productions really came handy, because we started having, devising sessions and workshops around creating these 4 PSA videos. And this was back in May, mind you, at the height of the first wave. So we had to do everything online, and it was quite challenging, but I think the team really stepped up, as did the kids. And weirdly, I think it was really helpful for all of us to have this project at that time, because it really kept our minds distracted from all the horrible things that were happening around us, at least during the time we were all working together. So during these devising sessions, we broke these kids up into different breakout rooms and got them to come up with all sorts of ideas which they had to pitch to the rest of the group at the end of the sessions. And what was great about this was that by the end of these sessions, we had at least 5 great ideas for each of the 4 issues that we wanted to make videos for. And what was bad about it, though, was that we had to then very painfully whittle it down to one idea for each of the 4 videos. So we looked into factors like narrative, tone, themes, as well as the final message, as well as practical considerations like time constraints, as well as production constraints, before deciding the 4 final ideas that you will see in our PSA videos. We wanted to give the kids a real sense of ownership over the creative process. So we appointed them as producers, directors, writers, and performers, which they really liked. And we were collectively blown away by the amount of commitment and enthusiasm the kids showed in finalizing those 4 scripts amidst online school and exams and tuition classes and all the horrible things that were happening in the country and around the world. This is where the story takes a little bit of a turn, because we were originally planning on shooting all 4 videos physically with the kids at a studio location that we had booked, but it was getting increasingly clear that the pandemic was just starting to get worse. So we started having these discussions with the kids about alternatives, and our initial gut reaction was to maybe go completely animated. But then we realized we would lose the opportunity to place the kids front and center of our pieces if we did that. So instead, we came up with a format which I think in the end elevated the final productions. We got the kids to shoot all the videos at home with their smartphones. And to help them out, we had a series of DIY filmmaking workshops and managed the entire production process online. Even the post-production process was online, including sound design, music design, which was done by our amazing composer, Sukita Bandaranayaka. And although this whole production process being online was fairly difficult, it was also kind of fun because we got an opportunity to step outside our comfort zones and try something completely new. The result of this entire production process are 4 PSA videos, which I hope will make you laugh, angry, concerned, motivated to change, and sometimes even all of these feelings at the same time. So we are so excited to finally be able to share it with all of you. We plan on sharing these videos on all social media platforms, from Instagram to, yes, even TikTok. And that might sound a little weird considering we've been talking about some of the issues associated with these platforms. But we want to push for more conscientious use of these platforms because they are the new public spaces, the new town square, if you will. And it's up to us to make them kinder, safer, nicer spaces and to fill them with more thoughtful and creative ideas. The DWI team believes that technology can be a force for good. I mean, imagine this pandemic without the internet. And even our entire project was done completely online using platforms like Zoom, Discord, and Notion. And I believe the project itself is a showcase that technology isn't inherently bad. So the real message here is that these new technologies are not going to go away anytime soon. In fact, they're going to get more and more integrated into our lives. So it doesn't really make sense. It's counterproductive to be complete Luddites and not keep up with the changes happening around us. It's important for everyone in society, especially our educators, our parents, artists, to engage with the issues in society. And whether we like it or not, this is the society we live in. These are the challenges that we are facing, which is why we need to understand and keep up with the changes that are taking place in the landscape of technology. We have so many challenges ahead of us. Just when we feel like we have a grasp on the internet and smartphones, there are new technologies on the horizon, like virtual reality and the metaverse. The metaverse is like a new iteration of the internet where you can cohabit and live and play and work in completely virtual spaces. This is Pumi already sucked into VR. DWI hopes to tackle these issues as we move into this very unsettling future. We plan on expanding our teams and also focusing on research around how technology affects society, especially in developing countries. One shortcoming with Reconnect Us was we weren't able to produce these videos in all 3 languages because of budgetary and time constraints. But we hope to replicate this process next year and not merely translate but adapt these ideas into both Sinhala and Tamil. Our ultimate hope is that we can tackle these issues through the education system, and we plan on pushing really hard on that front. So as our maiden project wraps up, it really feels like we are only beginning. So if you want to know more about us and join our effort, you can find us at thedwi.org and all major social media platforms. Thank you very much for listening, and we really hope you'll enjoy the PSA videos.